Hi, I wanted to do a little exercise with you about how to take a not very good reference photo and improve the quality of it so that you'll be able to get a better painting from it. I have a student who is also a mentee, and she's doing this great series about her family from several generations back. And so she's asked them for family photos and snapshots, and so you can imagine getting not great quality photos. So she had this particular one that she really likes, and but it's a little too dark in places. And so I said, well, let's put it on Photoshop and we'll see if we can make it a little bit better. And so I was going to share that with you today and show you how we do that. Okay, here's the photograph. And I think it's a great photograph. It's got a lot of personality, this little boy does. And um, it's got good light source, a nice strong light source, a little bit of reflected light down here, but then this part is really dark. And while it's dramatic, it would be better if it was at least a little bit more information in there. So it's really easy to fix on Photoshop. And I suspect that, if you don't use Photoshop, whatever other photo editing program you have will probably do something similar to this because the concept is kind of the same from platform to platform. Okay, so the first thing I would do is I want to save the background. I mean, which is the background layer, but it's the original photograph. I want to save that because if I change it and I don't like it and I do several things to it, I might not be able to get it back very easily. So I find it's just best to duplicate this layer. So I just go up to layer and I just say duplicate layer, and I can call this just rename that. If you're working with a lot of different layers, it helps to get in the habit of just labeling your layers, so it can get kind of confusing if you don't label them. All right, so what I'm trying to do is just lighten up some of these darker values. So I would go to image adjustments, and there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with this. But the one we're after is levels. And what this does, it only changes the value of the photo. It does not change the colors. This is your white, and this is the black, and this is all the range in between, all the values in between from lightest to darkest. And um, what we want to do is we want to increase this light uh, to dark range in here, this middle value. We want to make this a larger range. But if you ever forget, what you're doing, you can always just slide this and see what happens. Um, you can also slide, put this back on one and I'll show you. You can also slide this, and that would see it's also changing the middle tones, but see it's blowing out the whites. And so we don't want to do that. You can also move the black, and you see that is making everything worse. And so what we really want to play with is this middle value marker here. And so what we're doing is just increasing this value range from this darker side to the total light. We don't want to get it too blown out because we don't want to make it to lose the drama of the photograph. um, we just want to be able to see his ear clearly and his hairline, and maybe some of this in his cheek, be able to see the colors better. There's a lot of really warm colors in here that didn't show up before we adjusted it. So that looks pretty good to me. um, you can see a preview button on here, that lets you, see what you've done to it. And, sometimes if you move the little buttons here and you don't see anything happening, uh, the preview button might not be picked. But I think that looks pretty good. We can see a lot more information in the shirt, and it still has a nice drama to it. It could be maybe a little bit darker, about like that maybe. Okay, so I think that looks good. And now you can see the difference if I just turn this layer off, how much less information we have on his face. And I think that'll be a lot easier for her to work from. So to save this, I could save the um, Photoshop file that has the original and the adjustment that we made. Or we could just flatten the file so that there's only one layer, and then we can save that as Little Boy Adjusted. So let's do that. I think we don't need to save the Photoshop document this time. So we want to go down here and do flatten layer. And now we can save it with a different name. Save as Little Boy Eating Adjusted. Whoops. Adjusted. There we go. And we'll make sure we want it to be a JPEG. And we'll save it. Whoops. Yeah, I was playing with this earlier, so I'll just say adjusted to save. So let me stop sharing. So you want to save it like that so that if you want to email it or you want to print it, it's a lot easier to print a JPEG than it is a Photoshop document. And it's less, the file size is smaller, and you don't need multiple of these Photoshop documents, which take up a lot more space on your computer. So I hope you find that helpful. That's one of the gazillion Photoshop tricks it has up its sleeve. But if you think of anything that you need help with, just let me know, and I can do another one of these little tutorials and try to figure out different things, because we can change the temperature of the photos, we can add blurry backgrounds, we can blur out part of the figure, we can take things out of the photo. There's quite a lot of things that you can do with Photoshop. So happy photo editing, happy painting, and thank you for supporting Terry Strickland Art on Patreon. So appreciate you.